Okay.
Now we know that we're red bone. You're a red bone. I'm a yellow bone.
Yeah.
New name of the podcast. The Bones. Sorry. No. All right. Well, guys, welcome to another episode of Special Friends Podcast. I'm here with you. I'm sorry, y'all. I be bringing Allie through it. I feel like I'm torturing her, but she's comfortable. She got the bear. She got Snorlax. My son Cameron.
Hey, Cam.
Shout out to Cameron. And she got the little pillow over there. You know, she's living her best life.
Yeah.
But we're here for another episode. I'm with my girl,
Allie B. Sorry, Professor B. Me, that's me.
She's like, what's my name?
Allie.
And we're here for another episode. Yeah, man. I feel like, I don't know if I put it in yet, but if you guys didn't see it, we had a race to drink water hecka fast. Allie won. No, she didn't. And and you know, it was a great time. And now I feel like I'm high off the water. You know, I'm high off the H2O. The hydrogen is hydrogen in.
The water is water in.
The oxygen is, maybe I'm over oxygenated. What's the word? When you have too much oxygen in your blood.
Oxidized?
Yeah, I'm oxidized. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that's it, but I don't know for sure.
Like you ever went to the oxygen bar?
Now I gotta look it up. I want to. No.
You never heard about the oxygen bars?
Mm-mm.
I've always wanted to go. I feel like they're pretty cool.
Are they in like Europe or something?
No, Vegas. Kind of same thing. Not really. Not really. You never seen an oxygen bar? They used to have them over there. Is it M&M World?
No. I've been to Hershey's Park.
The heck is that?
In Pennsylvania.
Oh, there's a Hershey festival in Oakdale. You know that?
No.
Hmm?
Where's Oakdale?
That's between here and Fresno. It's like a little. I think it's by Modesto.
I don't think I've heard of Oakdale before. But
What? Cowboy capital of the world.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Black cowboys or
Cowboy. I don't know if it's black cowboys, but cowboy capital of the world.
Have you ever seen Concrete Cowboy?
Concrete Cowboy? No.
With Idris Elba.
Of course it would be him. No, I haven't.
It's good. I think you'd actually really like it. It's about like these cowboys that live in the hood in Philly. Black cowboys.
They live in the hood?
Mm-hmm.
Man, this game kind of crazy.
Yeah. Sorry.
No. What? I just didn't understand how they got there.
You have to see it. So in disbelief because it's based on a real story.
I mean, I just don't. How did they get there far away from where cowboys are?
Well,
like they used to be cowboys, and then like gentrification, or like what happened to the horse? They got the horse still?
Yeah, they have horses, and like you gotta watch the movie.
It's a movie.
That's part of yeah, it's a movie. Part of the plot is their ability to maintain and keep horses, because obviously in an urban area it's much less, welcome. But it helps.
It's a Netflix movie, huh?
I think so. But it keeps kids off the streets. It keeps kids learning about animals and keeps them learning the lessons of responsibility and just. In that movie in particular, it's about a young boy who is sent to go live with his father, who is a cowboy.
Oh, so he goes, like his dad doesn't live in Philly.
His dad lives in Philly as a cowboy in the hood. And he's sent there because he's not listening to his mom and just doing too much, really.
Man, these East Coast niggas is different.
And I want to say his mom lived on the East Coast, so it's not like his mom was super far, but just like she was like, you can't stay here. You have to go stay with your dad.
You have to go become a cowboy.
or a man?
Man, these East Coast niggas is different, bro. Listen.
It's cool. It was a good movie, though. It was so good.
Listen, the premise is already, you can't really miss when the premise is a cowboy in Philadelphia. Like,
especially and what was the other one with the other black cowboys and cowgirls? You know what I'm talking? Wait, is that Concrete Cowboy? No, is it The Hateful Eight?
oh, you talking about the Quentin Tarantino one?
With Regina King?
Oh.
You know what I'm
I
talking
haven't
about?
seen that one. The one that had Lakeith Stanfield in it?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one. I don't know if it's Hateful Eight.
It's not hate. I don't think it's called The Hateful Eight. But my grandpa loves Westerns.
Yeah?
He loves Westerns. So I also have a slight affinity for Western themed movies.
I mean, that makes sense. My grandpa and grandma were the same way, like the old black and white, like Indians and cowboys.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And yeah.
Native Americans, but you know what I mean when I say Indians, cowboys. But yeah, man, I think about it. I mean, I'm glad there's like an uproar of like those movies again, because I really think about. It's funny how things circle back. 'Cause I remember my grandpa, like, we had free TV, and like you'll go watch movies with my grandpa, and it's like, son, sit down, watch this. Sit down, watch this, and you just watching, and like it's not that funny to me. But my grandpa is busting up over there. I'm like, my grandpa's weird. Like there's a part. There's like I never forget what movie. I can't remember what movie it was. But in the movie, this guy has a shotgun, and he shoots this guy. And when he blows the guy away, all that's left is like he shoots him, and then in the next scene, the guy like flies, and his boots are just left standing there. Like they fall and they fall and they like land perfectly, and my grandpa was dead, and I'm just sitting there looking like, like it's funny now, like laughing at my reaction, but like in the moment I'm like,
what's funny about that in the movie? I'm laughing at the movie. The idea I could see it.
what it was
And your reaction, babe.
I think the funny thing about the movie was like they were serious.
I know.
So it's like serious, like it's like a serious, like a guy pull up like I'm about to kill you. Boom, and it's just boots. Like boots that feels like, oh wait, what? It's like, was that? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I love about watching old westerns with my grandpa, though. I like seeing kind of like what constituted special effects, and drama back then. And they have there's some good westerns with some interesting plots that I feel,
Oh yeah.
Black and white or early color movies that my grandpa's put me on too. I can't think of the names off the top of my head, but
I never knew the name. It just the next one came on.
I'm trying to think of what that actor's name is too. But I'll comment on this episode. I'll ask him to remind me what movies we watched before.
Yeah, was it Clint Eastwood? No, everybody loves Clint Eastwood.
We definitely love watching some Clint Eastwood. He loves a good Clint Eastwood movie. The last time I stayed with him, we watched The Mule.
Oh, Two Mules of Mary or something like that?
No, just The Mule.
The Mule?
Yeah.
Oh, not the Two Mules of Mary?
Is that... Wait, are we talking about Clint Eastwood?
Is there not Clint Eastwood in that movie? Let's do a fact check. Come back. Don't go far.
The Mule is about Clint Eastwood becoming a drug runner for the cartel. Also a very interesting movie. But just gotta be careful with Clint Eastwood movies because there's sometimes a tinge of microaggressions. But I still really enjoy his movies a little. Oh, that sounds so bad.
Two Mules for Sister Sarah. It's a different movie. The budget was, imagine, this movie was made in 1970 and the budget was $2.5 million.
I mean...
Is that a lot of money back then? 1970.
I don't know if that was a lot for a movie in the 70s. I guess so.
2.5 billion? 2.5 million?
I have no idea what a lot of money was beyond the 90s.
Oh.
You know what I mean in terms of like how the economies compare. But
interesting.
Anyway, yeah.
But Yeah, guys, we got some. We had some cool weeks. I think. Well, I can't speak for Ali. I had a pretty cool week. I think. Got working on some interviews for Creative Balance Show. Also went to Fresno. So my friend had an MMA fight, destroyed somebody in 15 seconds.
Dang, that's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. You know what I said after? You know what I said after he won that fight? I could still take him.
Wait, what'd you say?
I could still take him. Literally, I watched him fight, and I'm not serious, but there's always an arrogance. So I watched him really throw this guy and beat him up. The guy was just doing this, and my friend, if you saw my friend, he's shredded, lats are on 99. But just a little arrogance. I'm like, that wouldn't have been me.
I wouldn't have gone out like that.
Yeah, I would never. I never would have went out like a sucker like that. But no, my friend Shreddy, he'll probably beat my ass. But we had fun. Me and Richard went out and did that, and yeah. What did you do this weekend?
This weekend, I focused on grading. I wrapped up my last 2 online classes for summer school, and I'm still kind of working on some of those grades, but mostly I finished grading and getting cleaned up around home and enjoying kind of the last bits of the summer that I have before the fall semester begins. So this weekend I'm going to Long Beach to enjoy a little bit of a vacation before it's time to go back to school. So my bestie and I are going to be beach hopping across LA, just going to check out different beaches and relaxing. That's just the main priority, is relaxing, eating good, and sitting on the beach.
That makes sense. That sounds like a vibe, though.
Does it?
Or are you going to... Well, I don't like beaches, but
I was gonna say,
going to the beach sounds like a vibe, but not the actual.
Not that.
The event leading up to it sounds cool, but not the being there.
Not the being there.
When I went to LA, I went to see one of my friends at the beach, and we stayed in the parking lot, and it was a vibe.
Wait.
Yeah, we went to the beach and we stood in the parking lot. Did not touch the sand. You
did not touch the sand?
You think I'm joking? I don't like the beach.
No, I know you're serious. You didn't want to wear your Crocs or anything in the sand?
No, I didn't even touch. You didn't know. You know how there's if you go to LA, there's the wall, and there's the sidewalk, and then there's the beach. I didn't even go over the wall. I just stood right there behind the wall by my car.
I used to feel like that about snow.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like the way it feels to walk on snow necessarily, because I want the snow to crunch, and it always leaves me dissatisfied with this
mushes?
Mushes. But it's not even a satisfying mush. It's just hard and then slippery, and it's uncomfortable. But sand, I love to walk on. It's all exfoliating for your feetsies, and makes your feetsies soft if you.
What y'all say?
No.
Is that really a thing?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I think so. I don't know now. Because, we use...
I need some scientific fact behind that.
We use salt scrubs on our body all the time, and I imagine that sand is a fusion of dirt and salt from the water. Is that wrong?
No. That's definitely I get the idea, but do it actually do it is my question. I feel like it just sticks to the bottom and just stays there, versus with a scrub like this water and you're doing this.
Now that I think about it, I get a pedicure before I go to the beach almost every time. So
does your feet beat when you come back?
No, they're even softer. They're obviously they're sandy, but once I take that shower or I rinse my feet off.
I need some people in the chat. I need to know about this, because I've never heard this concept. This is a new concept about getting your feet exfoliated at the beach.
Well, that's gross, I guess.
I mean, a little bit of puka shell and, all this.
I guess if the water is constantly washing it off, I don't know. This is getting worse now.
No, I'm not. No, listen. I've never seen a beach bum with hard feet. You know, so there might be some credence to that. You know,
I don't know. I don't know. For me, I just like I like how it feels, but I understand your sentiments.
you like the desert.
I would. I can't say I've ever been.
Cause like that's what the beach reminds me of, like the desert, but like with water.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So anyway.
I'm listening. I'm trying to understand the beach, guys. I just can't get. I just can't get it. Can't
No,
get
it's
with
good.
it.
It's good. It's all good.
But guys, to introduce a segment, you know, as corny as it sounds, let's talk about special things that we either experienced or saw or anything this week. Basically, I want to start a segment where we talk about special things of the week, something positive. That either we experienced, we saw, or whatnot. So I kind of want to start that on this episode, and I want to ask you, like, what's a special thing that you saw or experienced this week? Something special.
How about you start?
Want me to start?
Yeah.
Well, my special thing. This is off the dome, by the way.
Okay.
I wasn't prepared.
Okay.
But my grandma got a dog, and the dog's name is KJ. It's a little Yorkie.
No.
And you know what KJ stands for? Kangaroo Jack.
Why is your mom's dog's name Kangaroo Jack? Why?
That's what I said. They're
Is
like,
that her
oh,
favorite movie?
huh?
Is that her favorite movie?
My grandma's.
Oh, it's your grandma's dog.
My
Okay.
grandma's dog. She named him KJ because I guess when he walks, he starts jumping a little bit.
That's cute.
So she named him KJ, and I'm like, Kangaroo Jack. Listen, I don't.
Let her live.
I thought that was amazing.
It's good.
Like,
It's good.
It cracked me up because I'm like, I mean, kind of stick. It's KJ. I mean, I would never call him Kangaroo Jack, but I'm like, hey, KJ, come here. And KJ was kind of cute. So
I love that your grandma gave her dog the name of another animal
listen, man, them people
as part of his name.
That silent generation is built different. That's all I got to say. I don't know what's wrong with it. But yeah, that was my special thing in the week. I thought the name of that dog, and the dog has a, you know, we always forget the animals got personalities. The dog has the craziest personality. Like,
Is he like
he's just like
sassy, or is he loving? Is he playful? Like,
he's like a cat.
I love cats.
Like, you know how like cats will like go around your leg and like kind of rub your body and leg. He does that, and I'm like, what's going on? Kind of mixed up, buddy. And then like he's small, so like he does things that small dogs do, where just like stand on your chest. And it's like,
Oh, I love when small dogs do that.
I just like, man, how disrespectful.
My mom feels the same way about her dog, though.
It's like, why are you on my chest, bro?
Her dog does that all the time. She's
Like, I
like,
get it.
get off. I love you, but
Like, I get
Give
it
me
because
some
you're like
space.
small and it doesn't hurt, but at like the same time, I'm like, bro, you're on my body.
but it does hurt. Their little paws be
Kinda.
pressing all up on you sometimes, if like jump off you or
Yeah, especially when they be doing extra. Like, all right, now
Yeah.
you trying to play. Mm-hmm. But yeah, KJ, shout out to KJ.
Shout out to KJ. Okay. That's cute.
What about you? What's a special thing you got?
I'm trying to think of like a non-work related special thing, because I'm realizing I talk a lot about work.
It could be work. It's your life.
Well, for me, I want to kind of like shout out my students, my summer school students. My online classes are wrapping up, as I mentioned, and my online teaching skills are good, but not as strong as like my in-person teaching skills. So every time I teach online, I'm learning something new and refining and getting better. And this week, I had the opportunity I did something new. I tried this like impromptu speech where it's like a farewell. It's called Farewell for Now, where my students basically say their final words to one another, to me. But I had some very specific questions, and some of them included like, how did you grow? What did you enjoy about this class? What are you still working on? And what are some words of encouragement or wisdom for future students that take this class? And I was just very pleasantly surprised by the words that they offered to future students. Because you got to understand, like, when you spend a whole 8 weeks beating yourself up about, you know, the class that you're building, that you want to be a good experience for your students, but you're seeing all of the problems, you're not really seeing the good experiences because you're not experiencing them. You're putting out all the fires.
Yeah.
So for the end of the term to come and it be like a lot of gratitude, a lot of reflecting on like things that people have improved on in their skills, feeling like the course was either one of their favorite classes that they've taken, one of the most like fun classes that they've taken, or, you know, just one of the most rewarding classes they've taken in college all together. And for students to say things like that, I don't know, when I'm feeling very, I guess you could say, like, unsure about the effectiveness sometimes, it was just like a very wonderful way to end the semester, because when you fall short as an instructor, it's a lot easier sometimes, I think, for students to complain and use it as a cathartic opportunity to just say what they didn't like. And I have had students do that before.
Time for me to go in on her.
Yes. And I have had students that do that, and it drains me. Like, I almost am like, wow.
She gonna hear about me now.
Why don't you just come to office hours sooner? We could have talked about this in person. But so anyway, I don't know. That's like a small thing for me that was a big thing for me. It's the first time I've gotten almost...
It was all good?
Almost like universally good feedback about their online learning. So
you didn't have nobody like, I'm finna roast her and rate my teacher. They still got that?
They do still have Rate My Professor.
I'm glad I didn't go to college. I would have been tearing people up in that rate.
Got some pretty interesting...
Some dicey ones?
Yeah. Some good ones and some dicey ones. But
that'd be a good thing to do, like a fun thing to do, like go through it.
That would be great.
Like maybe not yours to like roast you, but like go through some of like the most like see if I can find a Reddit thread of like some of the funniest, or like Rate My Professor review.
That would be great. Honestly, I would love to compare.
That'd be funny.
So yeah, it would.
Dang.
So
imagine you rate, like, you know, you write a review on like Rate My Professor, and it's like some guy like really goes goes into like a soliloquy about like how he felt about the class. It's like, nigga, if you put that energy into the class, you might have passed.
You know what I'm saying? You put all the energy into this last one, huh?
Like, damn, you got notes and everything, bro. Like, if you put this energy into the class, you would have got the grade that you was looking for. That'd been funny anyway. like, I'm pretty sure that
one of my students in his farewell video, he told future students, he was like, listen, Professor Boyd gives good quality feedback, and if you don't apply it, don't be mad when you lose points the next time for doing the same thing after she already told you what to fix. And I appreciated that, because there are so many times where I spend hours writing thorough feedback and students commit the same errors because they just, you know, sometimes don't read it. But
they read it.
I digress. Yeah, I think so too.
They're like, man, I'm about to BS this next one. All right, bro.
Yeah, it'd be like that.
But guys, I think, you know, the week has been, not only has the week been good for us, the week has been crazy. A lot has happened in the last 14 days since we recorded. It's like one of those days where it's like, I'm just so glad I'm not on Twitter, but I'm like also sad that I'm not on Twitter, because so much stuff happened this week, like these last 2 weeks. Like, before we get into all that, I want to give a shout out to a product. Allie really liked the product when I showed it to her. But there's two companies, one called Nightcap, and the other one called Invisaware. And these are all like, you know, I know it's like random I'm bringing them up, but I just wanted to show them out because I was on TikTok and I saw these, you know, you see all these like different videos, but it was this one video where the people like did this reenactment of like this guy being like hecka pushy about like this girl guarding her drink. And then he shows like, they show how easy it is for a guy like to put something in a drink. So they make these like little cozies that go over the cup, and they're called nightcaps, where it's like a scrunchie, and then you take it out and it has like a little sleeve that goes over the cup that just has enough room for your straw. And it's like a protection device for women when they go out to the club, especially like packed clubs where they're feared about getting drugged, which is nuts.
Yeah.
Like I've never been into it. I've never been to a club like that, like where something's happened. Like I've heard stories, but I've never been in that vicinity. But something like this, I feel like it was like cool to showcase. But Ali wants to also showcase.
Oh yeah, Invisaware. What she said, adopted or absorbed Nightcap. So shout out to Nightcap and the 16-year-old who developed it.
Yeah, because like Nightcap is its own company and they make them. Invisaware has like you know, they adopted, like they basically have their own version of that product now. But like I was reading a story about the lady, I cannot remember her name, but basically the story that she gave was the lady who started Invisaware is that she was walking to her car after a party one day, and she was walking by herself, and a group of guys came and were like, trying to holla. She was like, ugh, like rolled her eyes and kept walking. She said one of the guys like rolled up, like hopped out the car and like started following to the car. So she like booked it to the car and like drove off. But she said in that moment, after that moment, she realized like how many, she like thought to herself about how many other people might not have been that lucky or never know what could have happened. And she was talking about like how like there's no time when a guy's chasing you to pull out your phone, unlock the phone, and then dial 911. So she's trying to find an easier way of doing it, and that's when she started Invisaware. I think she started in 2018. And that's why she makes like these scrunchies and then like these bracelets that like, I guess you could say like Life Alert, but it's like an SOS button. I didn't look into like what the actual button does, but it's basically like a safety button.
It's a safety button, yeah, and it basically links you to ADT. An ADT agent is available to basically talk with you until you're in a safe place.
Interesting.
Or else to call law enforcement to help you find safety, and also will track your location. So it's, if you ever feel like you're in danger, basically you've got somebody to immediately get in contact with. Yeah,
because like she made a good point. Like, bro, if you're getting chased, especially girls have their phone in a purse. Like, how are you going to dig in your purse while also full sprinting? Like, it's not feasible. I've heard like, and I'm like, I think it's pretty cool to see like some of these products like start to come out, because I don't know if you saw that Uber added a panic button.
Oh no, I didn't know.
I think they're experimenting with adding a panic button to the app for people who are in the car, just because of people being in their car and then the Uber driver's a weirdo.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I would use Uber if they have that. I don't use Uber.
No.
For that very reason.
Oh really? I've had a lot of unique characters on Uber.
Yeah, I know people will take it by themselves, but I just don't feel comfortable taking Ubers alone. I'll take it with friends, but
that makes sense.
Alone, I'm not. It's not my ministry.
You know, I think about it. Shout out to the lady in LA. Maybe like 2 years ago. Where was I going? Where did I go? I went to LA and flew out of LA and went somewhere. And I remember I called an Uber with this lady. So I call in LA. They have in LA the Uber, you can like do like a co-ride where someone else can get in the ride with you. I remember I got this lady who rode with me, and we like rode in the back seat together and we chatted it up. Granted, I thought nothing of it, but I thought to myself, now I'm thinking about it as you're talking about, I'm like, I was a complete fucking stranger in that car with her, with another complete stranger.
But I mean, yeah, see, I don't know. I guess I maybe would be more open to a ride share, but even that, it's like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
because like she get dropped off first, so I'm like, you're dropping me off to where she's getting dropped off, and I'm not thinking, I'm just trying to go home. I just got from a flight. I'm like, I'm trying to go home. I'm trying to get to my car. And she's literally going to her house. Like, she's getting dropped off at her house, and I'm like there, like, It's like weird when you think about it. But it's like, it's weird because, people are weirdos. It's not weird because, like, for me, for me, it's like, whatever. But, like, if somebody's a weirdo in a situation, it's like, oh, man, it's taking me to my address.
You know what I mean? I feel like that about deliveries, too. Like, food deliveries, to an extent. I will order DoorDash, don't get me wrong. But I don't love it.
Like, when you think about how society has changed, the idea of putting your phone, like the idea of putting your card information on the internet to buy something was just like a no. Like, not even like a long time ago, like our lifetime ago. Like, at 10, I'm like, Mom, can you buy something on me? buying something from me online, all you have to do is put your card information into this website, and it will charge your account. And then you got to give them the address so they can then send it to you.
Wild. I know.
Like that concept back then, like, man, that sounds like a scam. But somehow, we live in a generation where, like, that's normal.
My grandma's barely coming around to, and my grandpa, both of them are barely coming around to ordering things online.
Really?
They'll still have us order, like, help them order from Amazon or something. It's not often, but only when my grandma, only when my grandma's on Facebook and she comes across something, you know, an ad, she'll be like, "What do you think about this? You think this is real?" At least she asks too.
Yeah.
So sometimes she can figure it out for herself too. But
That's definitely fake.
before she orders, she'll always ask us. She doesn't ever order anything.
Well, that's
herself,
how I feel about all the Temu stuff. Like, bruh, there's like the small 7-year-old in me that's like, is this real?
I've heard it is.
But then I'm like, $24 for a Nintendo Switch? I don't know, bruh. I've seen people order stuff, and I'm like, am I willing to take the risk?
It's only $24. Why not?
But see, I'm petty. $24 gonna piss me off. $24 is enough money. We're like, damn. Like, I bought something off Wish before. It was like $9. I could deal with the $9 L. Like, oh dang, you got me. I'm out 9, and it wasn't really outed because you still get the product, but it just wasn't as they described it. You know, it's a little bit shoddier quality. I don't remember. I think I got like a back scratch or something like that. But like, maybe. I'm cool with that. But like, you know, like a Switch, you're talking about you're saying the words Nintendo and Switch in the same sentence, and you're showing me a box of Nintendo Switch for $25.
Is there a picture of the actual Switch too?
That's what I mean. It's not. It's a picture of it's like a stock picture.
Scam.
And they have all these ads. I'm like, I don't know, bro. $24.
With all the ads, a scam.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
screaming a scam.
That's what I'm saying. Like Temu, like, I don't know, bro. I think you're trying to play me. I think you're trying to get me.
Maybe. I don't know. I've seen a lot of like shorts on people finding decent stuff from Temu, but
That's what I'm hearing.
I don't know.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's crazy that it's like it's so weird to think like some things are like normal. Like even like today. Like at one point, even though catcalling wasn't welcome, it was like normal. Mm-hmm. Now it's like absolutely not.
Yeah.
Like how culture shifts so much, but like catcalling is like a no unless you're sliding in someone's DMs. Then you might be able to, you know, you could throw a little.
Well,
you could throw a Hail Mary.
Today the new form, an acceptable form of catcalling, I think, is rizzing.
I thought you were gonna say yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
If you don't know what it is, because you don't have it. Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody who knows what "got" means, they know what I'm talking about. GYATTTT.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that Caribbean or something?
Got is what they use when usually somebody has bunda. You know what bunda
so
is?
It is.
No,
yeah, booty?
Yeah. So like usually when someone got a big old booty, if you go in the comment section, you'll see yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Kind of like similar to gal.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, well, because gal means girl, right? Mm-hmm. So gyat is like got damn.
Oh, okay.
So you're saying yeah.
I never knew.
No,
I never knew.
Yeah, if you go on TikTok and you see a girl with big booty, if you go on TikTok, anytime you see a girl with big booty, I'm almost positive if you go into the comments, you'll see somebody say "got." And now it's elevated. Cause somebody was one girl. She was I think she was at a convention, and she's like wearing like something that was like showy. Her booty was out, and somebody in the comments said, "I got to be your friend." And now that's like the thing. Like everybody's like in the comments like using "got" and shit. Man, listen, I'll be on the internet. It's lit up.
Is it Jamaican? Like, what is it?
No, it's like I said, it's goddamn. But you're saying like
it's like English slang.
Yeah, because like like you're saying like you never heard an old dude say that? Yeah.
Yeah, I have like goddamn. Like,
yeah.
But sorry, but
that's how they spelling it, like GYATTT.
It made me think of Okay. It made me think of like, you know, how in Jamaica they say, I'm so bad at saying it because I can't pronounce it. But you know, like, Bombaclat.
Oh. Boomba-clot. I don't know how to pronounce
Yeah,
it, but
that's
how-
much
how
better.
it
That's
is.
much better. But I'm always like so terrible at pronouncing it. But
Yeah, say it with confidence.
I used to talk to this Jamaican guy, and he would always laugh at me because I couldn't. I tried, but
Just don't got it in
I'll
you.
try it. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, you just gotta, you just gotta get absorbed in it. You know,
It's
like,
the spelling doesn't seem to feel like it translates evenly.
Boomba-clot.
Bombaclat.
Boomba-clot.
Bombaclat.
Like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not Jamaican. I don't know how we got
I just know it's a bad word. I don't know either. Today's episode, we're just kind of
Listen,
floating along.
all I know is shout out to all the people who know what God means. Keep using it. It lives on. That's the new cat. Oh, that's what I said. It was a new cat call.
Oh, that's right. That's
Like,
right. We're circling back.
Yeah, in the DM.
Okay.
Not
yeah.
in the DM.
Yeah.
You said that in the comments. You don't say got in the DM.
Okay.
You say that in the comment section, and then when she likes it, you follow up in the DM.
And have a conversation, a respectful conversation.
Oh, of course. Unless
Yeah.
you're on Bumble or Tinder.
Okay.
Not according to me, according to the world.
I don't know. I'm not on either.
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah, I just don't get it. I don't get Bumble and Tinder.
I used to be on Bumble.
You get it? What's the success rate for you on Bumble? I need to understand this. I don't understand it.
What do you mean?
Like, what's the like the success rate is like whatever you were looking to get on Bumble, did you succeed in getting it? I don't know.
0%.
0%?
Yeah, but I know people who've met their person on Bumble. You know.
Oh wait.
So
I didn't know people went on there to meet their person.
I don't think they were on there intentionally to do that. It's just what happened.
Yeah,
But
cause even I'm a. Nah.
Yeah,
I'm
what?
about to say something crazy.
what were
I'm
you
about to say
gonna
something
say?
crazy, but like, yeah, like, but I was, I was gonna say, yeah, like I don't know, like even like that concept, like the concept of like, there's a bunch of young people on this app out seeking each other just to have sex is so wild to me. Like even though that's not totally true,
Yeah.
like underhandedly everybody understands that's what the
low
notion
key.
is.
Yeah, I would say back in the day when I was on Bumble, that was definitely back in the day. It was long enough ago. It was long. Yeah, it was pre-COVID when I was on Bumble. Actually, the beginning of COVID, I feel like I was also like midway through. I don't remember what
I feel
point, but
like Tinder, like I feel like Bumble made more sense than Tinder because I guess like you said, guys are just doing this. Mm-hmm. Which, as I think about Tinder, I think I'll do the same thing. Like, like I said, girls are more picky than dudes. Guys, they really don't care. As long as you're not smacked. If you're smacked, then it's like a heck no. Or, if you have a type, like, some people have their types, then it's a no. But it's like, if you're anything over a 5,
that's why I got off that app.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like, it's almost like fishing with a net.
Ugh.
Sometimes you might catch an octopus, you gotta let it back go. You just gotta let it go. Like, oh, you wasn't supposed to be in here. Let me get you out of here.
Hate it.
No?
Nope.
You never tried it yourself?
What?
Like, you never just did all the swipes to see what happens?
No.
Why not?
I don't want to give anybody the wrong idea.
You just unfollow, you just unlike them after you're done.
I mean,
I wanna get on Bumble.
I guess that's true, but
I want to get on Bumble. I just suck at making profiles. But, well, I have a girlfriend.
I was gonna say you have
But,
a whole
like,
girlfriend too, but
Not like that, but like I was like, I'm gonna be real. Like, no, this is funny. Like I watch people on like TikTok and stuff like that. Like they'll go into they'll like go and like riz people up. That seems like a lot of fun. And a lot of them, they be having girlfriends, but they just be in there like, you know, like they'll go in there like, I'm just gonna like, what should I say? Like that sounds fun to me. Like that reminds me of like when I had a girlfriend. I was young. This chat line, like,
oh yeah.
I'm not trying to look for anything. I'm just on there just to mac you up a little bit and get off the phone.
So that's what I mean by like, at one point I was on Bumble. Okay, I feel like I was on Bumble and there was like one other one that I can't think of the name of at this time. It was like better quality than
black
Bumble.
one, not the black people one. The
Hinge.
Yeah,
it was Hinge. I was on
Hinge.
Hinge
Is lit.
Yeah, I was on Hinge like maybe 2 years into the pandemic or a year into the pandemic. And that is different than Bumble. Bumble is 100% just about hookups, and that's what I also noticed.
But Hinge is like prompts, right?
Yeah, Hinge has prompts. It makes it more interesting. You know, Bumble, I feel like Bumble also women have to make the first move, and that's also uncomfortable because if dudes are just swiping and accepting everything and I have to make the first move, that's like there's no return.
That puts all the power in your hand.
Not when dudes are just there for their egos to be stroked. And so that's what I was there for too.
I mean, did you riz anybody up? I mean, do girls, I guess, I don't know if girls girls riz people up. I've seen girls riz people up.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't tell you. I don't remember. It's been so long. Probably a couple guys, but at the end of the day, like I said, it's more about like, at that time, ego, like boosting my ego a little.
That's what it was?
Yeah, I think I'd gone through like I think a dude, I'm not gonna say he curved me, but things just didn't work out. And I was like,
whatever helps you.
I'm not saying it's healthy. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do.
Hey, man.
I'm not saying be like me, okay?
I'm not mad at it.
But you know, your girl was insecure, so
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I just be saying, I just like, you know, I'm sick. I like to, you know, I'm like a scientist. I like to test shit. So like, I feel like my whole premise of my page on like Bumble or Hinge will be just to say the most outlandish thing. Like, see what I could get away with. And not like disrespectfully, but like, you know, I like to push the edge a little bit. Like, let me see what y'all willing, like, you know, what can I say?
what are y'all willing to accept?
And I realized something. When a girl likes you, that threshold is very high. When a girl likes you or thinks you're cute, the threshold of what you say is very high. But when that girl do not think you're cute, nigga, you can't even say hi. Like, you say hi and it's like, ugh. Like, what are you doing? But like, if you, I don't know, that's crazy what I man.
Yeah.
I need to do some experiments. I'm gonna have to get my little brother on there and get him and game him up. Like, hey man, say this. I remember one time, I'm not gonna say his name, but like one time I had a friend, and he finally lost his virginity. I remember he was so excited about it. I remember he came to all of us. He was like, "Yeah, bro, I finally did it," and we're all like, "Yeah, woo, you did it, whatever." He's like, "Yeah, I want to do it again, but I don't know what to say." Again, myself being dumb. Like this is an example I'm talking about pushing the limit. I say you should text her talking about, hey, let me run it back like a punt return.
Jara.
And he did it. I said, oh no. I was saying that as like something I would say. I don't know if you can say things like that. But I'm willing to risk it. I'm willing to say stuff like that. Hey, let me run it back like a punt return. I think that's a pretty good line.
Yeah.
Like, but I feel like it works for me. I don't think he should have said it.
No,
but like,
you didn't think it was like a Rizzy thing for him?
You know, I think Riz is subjective, you know? Like, I don't feel like I could use the same lines that like Kai Cenat and Duke Dennis. I have to use lines that I could use that come natural for me.
Duke Dennis, he has the Riz.
Duke Dennis is an attractive chocolate man with a fucking beautiful grill.
He does. Like, how could you not be attracted to that?
I'm so jealous.
And he's a regular dude too. That's the other thing.
Type shit.
Yeah. Anyway.
What?
No, it's nothing.
That's how he says it.
I know. I'm a fan. But
I'm a fan of him too, but I'm also a fan of Cali, so stay off my man Duke, bruh.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't pay
That
attention
was
to
his
him like
ex-girlfriend.
that. Okay. His ex-girlfriend? Or his current girlfriend?
No, they broke up.
Doesn't matter. I'm on a dating hiatus for the rest of this year anyway, so
Does it?
I'm off the market anyway.
Sorry, Duke. Don't hop in her DMs. She's on a hot dating hiatus. Sorry.
I
Sorry.
couldn't fall in love with you even if I wanted to.
But
yeah, no.
as far as, we might as well get into it.
Okay.
We have a topic here. Joey Badass. He did an interview recently. He talked about when he met Jay-Z, it changed his life. He said something to the effect of like when he met Jay-Z at such a young age, it literally completely changed his life. Like it opened up his world to the possibilities of what his life could be. And as I was reading that article, I was thinking to myself like, it's a cliche question, but I've never thought about it in that way of like, who would I have, like, who's somebody that I could meet that would like let me know like, dang, I can really like I can really do anything. I kind of wanted to ask you that question, like, who's somebody you feel like you would meet, or I wanted to explore that, like, who's somebody you think you would meet that would change your life?
Okay.
Like celebrity, I imagine, or you don't gotta be celebrity. You don't gotta be celebrity. Like, who's somebody you personally feel like if you met would change your life? Cause that's a good question.
I got a couple people in mind. It depends on what for. But off the top of my head, I've always wanted to meet India Ari. Interestingly, hot take, because she's.
I don't know who that is.
You know who India Ari is? She's a soul artist.
Okay.
She sings "I'm Not My Hair."
Okay.
You know that song?
Putting me on a new stuff.
Strength,
today.
courage, and wisdom. Strength, courage, and wisdom. It's been inside of me all along. No? Okay, so I grew up listening to India Ari, and she is, I would say, like a lot of like Black women's empowerment music in the form of soul.
Yeah.
But anyway, I grew up listening to her. I love her music. I'm inspired by her as an artist, and I feel like the way she like lives her life is inspiring to me in a way that like I'm like, how did you do that? Like, how did you get there?
Yeah.
And so that's like one person. There's also another person that comes to mind.
Wait. Before we go to the next person, like, what's something that you feel like meeting her? What do you feel like would change your life about it?
I feel like my perspective about my own artistry, just because like I feel like her art, it comes from a very pure place. Her music comes from a very genuine and authentic place. She doesn't do music out of ego anymore. At least I feel like, and listening to her share her story, it used to be a bit more about. She used this metaphor of like she used to do music in this form of chasing this dangling carrot in front of her, which would be like awards and acknowledgement from the world, until she started to be satisfied just with like the fans that were able to engage her music with her, to be just satisfied with the community of artists that she works with and collabs with and makes music with, and herself, just her own gift.
Yeah.
And how music has healed and kept her kind of like, grounded it throughout a lot of ups and downs in her life, like very serious ups and downs. And for me, I feel like music has the capability of offering the same in my life. But
so do you feel like you want to like understand, you feel like meeting her will help you understand or like help you visualize where that music comes from? Or
I think she will help build confidence and inspiration and how to really walk in it, because I often get distracted by everyday life. Like I don't know, I feel like I wish I could be like an artist where my life's work is about creating beauty in this world. And I just feel like I focus way too much on teaching, like the intellectual part. And I don't know, I think she could change my life in that way, of just like how it's possible to be happy as an artist, how to be fulfilled as an artist in life. And teaching is its own art form too. So I would be curious if she could inspire me to find ways to, I don't know, just walk more in my authenticity than I already try to do.
Yeah.
You know,
And you said you had someone else?
yeah, but I
You want to talk about it?
no, it's not. I don't want to talk about it, but like I want to give a thoughtful answer, and it's one that's just kind of fresh off the dome. So
Okay.
I'll reserve it, and I want to ask you, who would be your person?
I mean, I don't gotta be thoughtful. I just wonder, like, you know, like, cause I have like two.
Okay,
My first one was always Will Smith.
Will Smith would be.
It's
cool.
always gonna be Will Smith.
Why
for
Will
me.
Smith for you?
Why I want to interview him or why I would want to meet him? I just want to see what he's really like. Like, you know, we know that's always been my question. Like, I've never taken what I see in the camera or on social media as face value. I always wonder, is that really how you are? So like that's like my first thing. Like, is that really you, Will? And the second thing is just more, I guess, kind of like what you're saying. Like, I would want to see how he actually lives his life. Like, and maybe not. I maybe wouldn't get like some catharsis from it, but I think I'll get like some inklings of like, because that's like the whole premise of like kind of creative balance, where it's like understanding what does it really look like. You know, we see Beyonce on tour, like, because we see the shows, but like what leads up to the show? Like, is she like on the phone with her kids? Is that like, are they with her? Like, you know, like what, like same thing for him. Like, you know, you got, what is it like now being 50-something years old with grown kids versus when you were younger and your kids were younger? Like those conversations, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like those would definitely help me. Not that I want to be like an actor or anything like that, but like I feel like it would help me in understanding. And I guess I can get that from someone probably closer that I already know. But I feel like Will Smith is a good example of somebody who went from like nobody knew anything about his life to now everybody knows everything about his life. And I just want to know, like, I feel like sitting down with him and like really seeing who he is and what that took will be interesting, because you always hear him talking about how he's constantly learning and adjusting and learning and adjusting, like even in his marriage and stuff like that. I'm like, what kind of person is that? Like, what kind of, you know? So that would be my reason. That would be my person. And then my second person, sorry y'all, I gotta meet Kanye.
Why Kanye?
You said why Kanye?
Yeah. Like, and would you meet Kanye right now? Is who he is?
Damn right.
Okay.
With the shoulder pads and everything. I don't know. Like I said, listen, I'm gonna be real. If I meet Kanye, what did Chance the Rapper say? I met Kanye West. I'm never going to fail. I feel like I don't know. With Kanye West, I think if I ever meet Kanye West, I'll probably just be like, dang, I really met this nigga. like to me, it's like I could do anything now. like when you check certain goals off the box, you're like, now that I've checked that goal off the box, like I could die happy. I could do absolutely anything now. Like Kanye, that's where Kanye is in my life, and it's a little bit idolatry. I'm sorry, but that's just how I feel.
Well,
personally,
you know, I would liken India Ari's influence in my life in that regard. I don't feel like she's quite as popular today, and she was recently in like media about saying something something about the BET Awards, how it was like, you know, not the award show. Oh, the Essence Festival. It was the Essence Festival. They had twerking for the first time, and she was just you know, she had words about it. She had feelings about it, and she had to explain herself because people don't know her. They don't know where she comes from. But I look at her as someone who does music as medicine.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm inspired by her, is how are you able to make your music and your words medicine to people and not be torn down by the negative reactions of the world to your efforts. You know what I mean?
I guess when I think about it, it comes to remind me of Toni Morrison, where it's like she understood, like when she's making her stuff, she said she understood she wasn't making it for the masses, and she understood the masses weren't going to like it. It was meant for this specific group, and if everybody else enjoys it, cool. But y'all have to come over here. I'm not gonna go over there. And I don't know NDRE obviously, and I gotta probably look more into what her music is. But I can imagine it's something like along that lines, like I'm making this for this specific type of person. So if you don't like it, it's because you're not this
It's not
type
for
of person.
you.
Yeah,
100%.
and I think I do say that's a hard thing, because I can only say that because like even like when I posted the last clip about like the hey white people thing, like you know there's a part of me before I pushed the publish button where I'm like, am I gonna offend some people? But at the same time, as I watched it again, especially the way that I edited it, I'm like, if you're offended by this, it wasn't meant for you. So I'm posting it anyway. And people liked it. And even I got white friends. I got like shout out to Ryan. Shout out to both Ryans. Well, one Ryan's white, the other one's Mexican. Sorry, Ryan. but yeah, like my white friends liked it. So I'm even though it's not fully validation, it lets me know that at least I wasn't being I was being brash, but I wasn't being offensive. I wasn't trying to offend somebody. But yeah, like interesting.
Along the same lines of her, also I would love to meet, and the person I think would change my life is Miss Iyanla Van Zant. Have you heard of Miss Iyanla? Iyanla fixed my life.
Oh yeah. Oh, the way you said it at first, I did not know who that was.
Miss Iyanla Van Zant. You gotta. Miss Iyanla is important to her formal name, but I know like for some people it's like a hit or miss in terms of what they think about her. But I really am inspired by the work she does and the healing that she does for other people and how she does her healing. And so for me, it's partly like wanting her to fix my life and my family. Respectfully, Mom.
I want to be on the show.
I don't even really want to be on the show. I don't even think my family would be down for something like that. But
see, that's the problem.
I think that if I could be a fusion of two different celebrities that I love, it's NDRE and it's Iyanla with what they do. One heals through music, the other heals through counseling and words and speaking, and both of those are gifts I feel I have, but that need to be refined, that need to be better and more nurtured. And I just admire how they both use those gifts. I think I have them, but I just kind of am still figuring out how to use them. If that makes sense. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't mean that opportunistically. I mean that genuine in terms of like just wanting to meet two individuals who have inspired a lot for me.
Yeah.
To this day. But
that's what I think that that's what I agree. I think that's the point of it, right? Like when you, because I feel like, granted, like I don't know if you saw where people were on Twitter like, you taking the $1 million, whatever X amount of $1 million, or the dinner with Jay-Z. People, I'm taking the dinner with Jay-Z. I'm gonna get more game than that. Jay-Z came out and said, y'all tripping. If I was y'all, I'd take the money.
That's what I was thinking. Take the money and then pay for a dinner with Jay-Z.
Yeah, I don't know. That might be an expensive dinner still. I don't think it's enough money. You gonna probably use up all the money trying to meet with Jay-Z
for a meet and greet.
Man, listen. It's a guy I follow, and he's talking about how much money he's paid for people's 1 hour. That motherfucker paying a lot of money. He said he said a good chunk of his money is spent on getting 1 hour from like billionaires.
Damn.
And because he's trying to become a billionaire, but he said he pays X whatever. He don't care what the amount is, because he said he feels like. Granted, he's also sitting down with the concept of like, I'm gonna get I'm gonna get like something from you. And I feel like with the dinner for Jay-Z, I'm like, Jay-Z, I don't know if Jay-Z eating dinner, you're not finna get nothing out of him. I'm trying to eat. Like, especially like when I think about like what Kevin Hart's talking about Jay-Z like so casually, he make Jay-Z sound funny. I think Jay-Z is funny, but he be like Jay-Z is a human being at the same time, like, I don't know about that, Kev. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think for me, when it comes to like meeting, I don't think I'll get any like skills from each one of those people. I think it is like one part of it for me was like I said what Kanye is just seeing. Can we hear about Kanye having these radical ideas? But I want to see like, not to like go around him and want him to be on, but I just want to see like what the fuck they be talking about. Cause like I've seen like I've watched a lot of fashion icons like do interviews and they're like, oh, who's somebody that you love to talk to? And all these motherfuckers be saying Kanye West, and I'm like, what the fuck? What the nigga Kanye be talking about? Like what? Like it'd be like it's like the thing in my mind like I don't want to meet him and think I'm gonna get put on and nothing like that. Like I'm not the type of like Kanye, I want to meet you. I just want to know. I just want to genuinely have a conversation with him, like, and like just really talk to him,
like really see how his brain works.
Yeah, and not like pick his brain, but like just have a conversation and see like what comes from that conversation. Mm-hmm. Because I be hearing people talk, I'm like, what the fuck did this nigga like? You get kind of itchy, like, what the fuck this nigga be talking about now?
That's true. There are a lot of celebrities who have commented on having like powerful conversations with him, and it's like, what did he say?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what the? And like even like think about like when he got his when he won his Grammy. What was it? What year? I can't remember what year it was. When he won his Grammy, he was like, I feel like it was one of his best speeches ever. Some of y'all, I know a lot of y'all was wondering what I might do if I didn't get this Grammy. I guess we'll never know. I remember like, damn, what the fuck would he have done?
I literally show that speech in my class.
Bro, the setup is so good because you're really like locked in like. Granted, he kind of was rambling at the beginning, I ain't gonna lie. He gets at the end, I know y'all was wondering what would have happened if I didn't get this Grammy. Gets all serious. I guess we'll never know. He walks off, what you mean? What you mean? Oh man, it's legendary.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm with you. For me, it's not necessarily getting the skills out of, both of them. It's the wisdom that informs the skill development. Yeah. So.
Like what that looks like. Interesting.
What a cool question.
Yeah, I thought that would be pretty good. Says a lot about us. Sorry. You guys know I'm a Kanye stan now. Maybe if y'all didn't know already. Yeah. But in the lane of like people who aren't who they say they are, Lizzo. Miss Lizzo. So if y'all don't know,
break it down for the people.
I'm pretty sure everybody knows this point, but if you don't know, Lizzo's getting sued by her ex
backup dancers.
Like backup dancers, some people say producers, like people who worked for her.
Or a choreographer.
Yeah, choreographer. Like people who worked with her on tour, some of them were let go, she says, based on improper conduct. And now they are all ganging up and suing her for what looks like sexual harassment, failure to remedy sexual harassment, and then religious harassment and failure to remedy religious harassment. And there's also like some mixture of like fat shaming in there and like a cocktail of like, being forced to do some stuff that they didn't want to do. Like, it's a lot going on. Mm-hmm. This is a mess.
It's really ultimately about harassment in entertainment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 100%. Like, that's what I'm like confused about too, because like what they're suing for, and this is why I always think it's weird when I think about the court of public opinion, because like what people are getting sued for, and then what you be hearing people talk about, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Mm-hmm. Like, she's getting sued for like basically like not having a safe work environment for people, as far as like the sexual harassment and as far as like the religious harassment. But then you hear people like, oh, fat shaming and she's not nice and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't know. What is your thoughts on the situation? Like, what have you looked up, and like what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I'm just looking up here. I'm just looking at some of the headlines that it said Fox 2 hours ago says that she's facing new allegations from at least 6 more accusers.
She finna get R. Kelly.
Don't do Lizzo like that. First of all, I mean,
I'm tired of this shit. I don't even know how to hog tie. Anyways, but
sheesh! Oh my gosh, the Made in America festival featuring Lizzo and SZA was canceled. Goodness, that's
what happens though.
I know.
Beyonce took her out the song.
I'm sad to hear about it. I feel like she's been a pretty positive light in terms of pop music, in terms of just like, I don't know, like women being positive to one another, empowering. So it's kind of very surprising to hear a completely alternative narrative to what we have been fed. But I also know that like celebrities are personas. It's only if at all, a small percentage of their true personality, of who they truly are.
Yeah.
So, you know, who knows what all sorts of traumas Lizzo is carrying in terms of her weight journey, or her body, her self-love journey. Like, who knows how that has shown up in terms of like what she expects from her dancers. Of course, that could lead to, you know, fat shaming. It could lead to any of those things, even being but I guess here's where I feel like I can't comment on it as a petite woman, because it's not an area that, like, you know what I mean? It's like,
it's not your fight.
It's not for me to speak on. It's not my fight. It's not for me to speak. It's not for me to speak to, because one, I can't relate, and two, I have no idea what would compel this sort of argument. I would not understand. I don't understand. I'm not a dancer. I'm not in entertainment. But
listen, I'm a man, and as the internet has been saying about men, specifically black men, they try to say niggas be in conversation they don't need to talk about. Well, I'm gonna do that today. Miss Lizzo. I actually don't believe these allegations, and I'm only saying that because Lizzo has a troupe of big boned dancers. So for me, it's tough for me to feel like she fat shamed them, and I feel like it's just being misconstrued. Granted, it's hard, and I won't stand on anything until more comes out. But given limited information that I have, I'm only going to assume that somebody got fired because they gained too much weight. And if they're dancers, and I can imagine, like, what I'm imagining in my head is like they couldn't dance properly due to some weight issues, and that might have been a reason for the firing. Mm-hmm. And if that's being said as fat shaming, I don't agree, because Lizzo's 300 pounds, and Lizzo be out there fucking dancing.
I think it's too soon to say. And I'm hopeful
I'm
that...
just guessing. I'm just shitting. I'm trying to shoot shit at the wall.
Listen, I know, but
like,
I'm reading a BuzzFeed article, and that's literally
y'all can
part
kill
of
me
its
if y'all
title.
want to. If I'm wrong and Lizzo says some out of pocket stuff, y'all can kill me all y'all want. I'm just saying right now, where Najar is at, I don't believe y'all. I don't believe y'all, just because I feel like the character that y'all trying to portray her as is like almost pinpoint to the character that she's portrayed herself in a good way, and now you're trying to use it in a negative way. Like, she's a brash person, she's like, you know, she's open by her sexuality, she's this and that, whatever, and now that's being flipped, like, yeah, she was forcing us to do some nasty stuff.
I mean,
like that.
both can be true.
Yeah, I mean, 100%.
She could be both things.
No, 100%. That's what I said. I'm just. Do I feel like she's gonna get in trouble for the sexual harassment and stuff like that? Yes, because I'm pretty sure she probably did some fun things, and that's being used against her, and she'll learn that lesson. Mm-hmm. But do I think she, like you talking about microaggressions, do I think she intentionally did something to make somebody feel uncomfortable? I'm willing to say right now, I don't think that was her intention.
Oh, intention. Well, yeah, I think it could have been the result of ignorance, really. Like, we talked on the phone about this, but I don't know how, like, keen to HR Lizzo is, you know, in terms of especially in entertainment. It feels like there's so much gray area in terms of what's professionally acceptable. And when you are the star, like the lead star, I feel like you can also get away with a lot more demands and expectations of what you want to experience. So I don't know if she just needs a better team to like help hold these sort of like standards in place and hold her accountable to making sure that these standards remain in place, because at the end of the day, it's not like Lizzo's gone through any CEO training for how to manage background dancers, how to manage a whole. I'm gonna guess she hasn't been through a formal training for that. They've hired people to help her with those things. And before I finish, I'm just saying, of the people that have been hired for her team, I'm not saying that the people on her team aren't good or helpful, but when you have a great team that either sees problematic people that could potentially harm your reputation or sees you doing behavior that could potentially harm your reputation, your team's going to tell you and hold you accountable and help to make sure that this sort of situation doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, I don't think that it's fully preventable, but I feel like there's a need to kind of like clean up the team and her own professionalism to an extent.
Yeah,
you know.
I think, and that's what I say. I think
maybe, I don't know.
If I'm Lizzo in this situation, I'm gonna be real. I hate to be weird like this, and granted, I've always felt this way before this anyway. I'm just not hanging out with them people. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're my choreographer, that's what it is. Like, that's it. Like, we're not hanging out after, unless like we're actual friends. Like, I'm not
keeping it professional.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, and I've always felt that way anyway, which is why like I've always wanted to like my friends to work with me, because you know if you work with your friends, it's different. You know, but
that's what I'm saying. I feel like Lizzo probably has a team. I don't know for a fact. I need to do more research, but matter of fact, I'm thinking it's like people she trusts. People she's known for a long time, and for all we know, those people could have a similar temperament as her.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, where it doesn't foster what's most acceptable. It fosters like, or I should say, what's most appropriate. It fosters what Lizzo would find acceptable, and that's where like there's a whole bunch of, I think, gray area possibly. But
yeah, and that's what I think. That's why I think it's tough, because that's what I'm saying. Like, if I'm Lizzo, I'm not hanging out with. If you're not part of my friend group, we're not hanging out. Or for like I said, we're not hanging out like outside of work. Like because that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking too. Like when I think about the term sexual harassment, and granted you can get harassed outside of work, mm-hmm. but like I'm thinking about through the guise of a workspace. Like if you're invited to a space, sorry, no, you're okay. Like if you're like invited, like, because I'm thinking about like me and all my friends went to the strip club mm-hmm. before, and I'm gonna be real, I didn't really want to go, but I told him, I said, we flip a coin. If I lose the flip, I'll go. And I lost the flip. I said, fuck, guess I'm gonna go. You know, we go. It was awkward. But at the same time, I had a good time, and
you were able to experience it from like a comfortable place.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about like, because like I wasn't the only one who was uncomfortable. It was other people who were uncomfortable too, because we just realized that wasn't our vibe. You know, but through that lesson we learned it wasn't our vibe. We haven't went back. But I'm thinking about like that, of the guise of like, if it was my coworkers, mm-hmm. I don't think we would have did that.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying is like, with entertainment, I don't think that it's quite as clear cut.
It's not.
And so it makes sense why she might be in this predicament, whether it's all the way true, there's some truths, there's half truths, there's no truth. At the end of the day, I think that because of the gray area in entertainment, unfortunately, you need a really, really strong, good team to prevent, again, these sort of circumstances.
Now I see why everybody be having people sign NDAs. And some girl did say, if I had to sign an NDA, I'm not going. And I think that's fair too.
I agree, because if harm is going to be done onto me, I want to be able to protect myself.
Yeah.
And you can't protect yourself if you're silenced.
Yeah.
But.
And that makes sense. And that's what I said. Like, because I've heard of like there's a girl she's talking about how like all her parties are you have to sign an NDA. But not because of the party, because the people who are at the party, mm-hmm. because the celebrities there. So you can't have a phone, NDA. And I get like there's like a safety in that, but it's like, I mean, granted, like I guess you have a choice, but Man, it's such a touchy. That's such like a that's such a slippery slope.
Well, let's. I have an idea to transition with that because, celebrities don't have the option necessarily of becoming a regular person again.
No.
And so, where was I trying to go with this with Lizzo? Sorry, I actually had a really good transition there.
You said they're not regular people. Or they don't have the ability to be regular again once they become
famous.
Yeah.
So I forgot what the connection was there. I wanted to transition that though, and comparison to, I was reading a bit about Angus Cloud, who rest in peace to Angus Cloud.
Big rest in peace to Angus Cloud and prayers to his family.
Mm-hmm. But I was just reading about his sentiment about fame.
Yeah.
And he just really didn't want to be. He never really wanted to be famous. He didn't set out to become an actor. He was recruited.
Yeah.
And scouted, even though he went to art, a performing arts school in Oakland.
Yeah.
But I think about that with like how big you can become as a star and how much you can lean into being a special person or humble and special just like everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And I am curious how much of Lizzo is like believes that she's humble just like everyone else, or believes that because she is a star that her norm is an acceptable norm for everybody. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if that's what kind of put her in a dangerous situation. Whereas unfortunately with Angus, it's like he had other things where he just slipped through our fingers, because he didn't want all of the lights and things, especially in the time that he was in with grieving his father's passing. There's like all this pressure to show up and be the star that everybody sees you as. But if you are, in pain and you're suffering and you can't really show up as that star, or for example with Lizzo, maybe you are actually, it sounds like she's done her healing. But if these allegations are true, it sounds like she still has a lot of healing to do in terms of, body image, in terms of sexuality, in terms of religion. And so, like, I'm curious if there's, I don't know, any sort of relationship there of like, is the cost of fame too expensive for people? I don't know. I kind of trailed a lot of places. Sorry about that.
I feel like I think the difference between being famous now versus being famous maybe 20 years ago is the accessibility. Mm-hmm. If you're famous 20 years ago, the only way people could reach you is like maybe a letter. Mm-hmm. It was like fan mail was like a big thing. Mm-hmm. And that was it. Now it's like social media, like I can literally DM you. And then it's like because you want to be active on social media, it's like I know where you live and I could possibly find out where you are at any given time. And then like just because like example like something like if you're recording a set, like we have an idea like, oh, I've seen people recording Euphoria in this city. Like like it's stuff like that where it's like now things are so accessible that like if you do become a star and you don't want that, unless you like personally hire people to keep you out the way, you're gonna come face to face with that more often than not. And like you said, some people either embrace it, like Lizzo, where she's like, and granted I don't know, but like Lizzo does give off like I'm the shit. And then there's other people like Angus Cloud, or like I guess you could say like Jaden Smith.
Yeah.
Where it's like he wants to be more normal than he wants to be this person.
Yeah.
A celebrity. And like obviously that doesn't mean they don't benefit from it, but like you said, imagine do some grading and someone walks up to you. Oh my God, it is you. Like, what are you talking about? Oh my God. Or like, even something simple like you're getting your feet done and there's people at the window like,
Oh my gosh. Yeah, like everywhere you go.
yeah. And like I've been hearing about like celebrities doing the disguises, like like I don't know if it was Drake. I think it was Drake and Tyra Banks went to disguise to Disneyland.
Really?
Yeah, to go on a date. They like went in disguise, and I'm like, it's crazy you have to go to that length, but like imagine like, and I also heard that's why celebrities like going to the UK, because you go to the UK and like nobody knows who you are.
Yeah.
So it's like it's the only way to go and be normal.
Yeah.
And like that concept is just like that's so crazy. Like
it's like celebrities live in an alternative reality almost.
Yeah.
And where it's like all the attention is their norm, and for us, no attention is our norm.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you're under such a microscope, you're obviously gonna eventually be seen for the flaws.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm just hopeful that regardless of what the truth is with Lizzo's situation, I hope that, both parties are able to find the healing that they need. Because Lizzo's career is not going to be the same after this. She's going to have to work really hard probably to recover if she can. And that's, assuming we find out more about the truth.
Yeah.
Why are you looking like that?
I'm telling you, I feel like they about to R. Kelly her. Until they have a whole bunch of people for to come out the woodworks to jump on these allegations, and it's going to smother her career. I don't know. I can't say. I mean, if they're true, it's hard to say it's fair or not. But like,
I think it's going to be reliant on how the case turns out, like what the ruling will be, and also how she responds.
Yeah.
Because, I mean. Yeah, how she responds, what she says, is going to have everything to do with how everyone's going to perceive her.
Yeah.
Right, moving forward, and as it relates to trying to figure out the truth in this lawsuit. So I just hope that they all are able to find their healing, whatever that looks like, and their justice, whatever that looks like for them.
I will also say though, like, to the point that you made earlier about, like, as far as like not wanting that kind of attention or energy. Granted, obviously I'm not a celebrity and nowhere near. Mm-hmm. But I remember, as I think about that, I think about a moment that I felt that way, where I remember, I think it was Super Bowl Sunday. No, actually, I know it was Super Bowl Sunday. It was Super Bowl Sunday. Me and my friends went to brunch. Got faded. Tore up at brunch. Took our friend to, we get tore up at brunch. I think one person didn't drink because we had to take somebody to work. They go to work. They're too drunk to go to work. They throw up. So they're like, "Come and get me." Sorry. Anyway, the people who know the story know the story. So we go to go get her, and we're like, "Oh, let's all go to Starbucks." Why? I don't fucking know. I don't know why we went to Starbucks, but we all went to Starbucks to hang out. So we're all out there, faded. Mm-hmm. Like, I guess you could say, like, just being ourselves. Like, we're giggling, we're joking, we're all standing up. Like, people are sitting down, people are standing up. We're, shooting the shit or whatever. And I remember this guy walks up to me. He goes, "Hey, WZ. WZ." And I remember I had shades on my head, and I said, "What?" "Oh, come on, don't be like that. WZ. I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Oh, I saw you from the window, and you had so much energy, and I just wanted to come and like be around it and like meet you." And I remember I felt so bad because I was being so standoffish, but I'm like, "Yeah, that's cool, but like I don't know you, bro."
Yeah, like you never reached out before this.
Yeah, like I've never met you before. Like I don't even know your name. What's your name? He's like, my name is Zeke. And we're like, now I'm like interrogating him. I'm like, "Bro, you just came out of here, bro." I'm like joking with my friends live. You came over here and like especially like the way you said it. I came over here to like kind of be around the energy. I'm like, fuck does that mean? What the fuck does that mean, bro? What's this new millennial language you talking to me? The hell? And I remember like talking to him and like and like he ended up leaving. I felt bad because he left with like a dulled experience, and I'm like, he left, and I'm not telling my friend like I feel hella bad, but like I don't know that nigga.
You're like, is he a real fan or?
No, he just saw the WZ on my shirt, so he kept saying WZ, WZ, and I'm like, the fuck you talking about? Like, you know, like what the hell you talking about? And I remember I felt so bad because I'm like telling him like I feel bad because like he was trying to come and get like a positive experience, but like I think he don't realize I'm only having this experience because I'm with my friends.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to come and like I don't even know you.
I see what you mean.
How can I joke with you? I don't even know where to start the joke at. Especially like me personally, like when I make my jokes are always tailored to the person. Which is why like when I first meet people, I don't joke at all. And people always feel like weird, like, oh, you're always hella funny when I see you. And I'm like, I don't know you. But as I get to know you, I start to make jokes. I mean, you probably noticed, like I start to make jokes in your lane. Because if I make up a joke in my lane, you'll be like, what the fuck is it?
Yeah, you're right.
Try to make a joke in your own lane, like
it'll be silent over here.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be like, I don't get it.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I imagine like that. I think about that experience where I'm like, I can't imagine being a celebrity where you're chilling with your friends or you're chilling by yourself, and someone comes and like wants you to be on, wants you to be like Will Smith, and they want you to be the Fresh Prince. Like, nigga, what? Come on, or like Carlton. Like, oh, Carlton's probably a good example. Like, come on, do the dance. Nigga, I'm at Starbucks. I want a macchiato.
I'm here for a frappuccino.
Macchiato. I just got out the gym. I'm sore, and you want me to fucking hit the Carlton?
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna ask to be hit the Carlton 17 more times today. Like I only had that one experience. Like imagine that times like every time you go out. Yeah. Hey, like imagine like I'm just sitting here. I'm like, I just can't imagine, bro. Like, hey, WZ. Like, ugh.
That's good. That's some good stuff. Because like, how could Lizzo ever be anybody other than Lizzo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what somebody said. Somebody said like, yeah, Lizzo gives the energy like, oh, I'm gonna give you a hug and like, stuff like that. Like, and obviously like it seems like through her events, like through her, like what she's saying, like inviting everybody to go do stuff that she does, it ended up turning into a negative because of the work environment. So it's like, man, that's a tough situation. That's a catch-22.
Yeah.
Jesus. That's a lot.
That's a lot. I guess we'll see. To be continued. We'll see what happens.
Like I said, I'll definitely keep up with the case and see what's going on. But before we get out of here, I did want to talk about. We read an article on what was the name of the website again?
Oh, that's a good question. Gottman Institute.
Gottman Institute has some great articles. If you guys haven't read them, I recommend it. And I wanted to talk about this because I feel like this will help a lot of people. And it was an article about emotional disconnection in relationships. Did you want to go ahead and talk about it, or you want to?
No, you go for it. I'm gonna pull it up though.
Like, so the article was about emotional disconnection in relationships, and as I was reading through this article, I started to see a lot of myself in the relationship in it. And like Dr. Them, the reason I say that was because Dr. Them always talking about it's easy to see somebody else in it, but can you see yourself in it? Anyways, shout out to Dr. Thema. But yeah, she was talking about that. Like, I'm seeing myself in the article, but I'm also seeing other people in my life, and I'm like, man, I think I know some people who are emotionally disconnected. Not a lot of people, but I definitely do. So I want to kind of like talk through like what emotional disconnection is in a relationship.
Okay. Yeah. So, and this was an article written by Yolanda Renteria.
That's a great name. Shout out to Yolanda.
Shout out to Yolanda. I have a sorority sister with the same last name.
I have a daughter named Yolanda.
But it says at the start of it, my cousin's name was Yolanda, and my auntie's name is Yolanda. R.I.P. So it goes, emotional disconnection is a protective response that can lead to problems in developing meaningful relationships. Workaholics and perfectionists are people who are always on the go. Like when everything is done on their checklist, and pride themselves as multitaskers. These types of people tend to be highly analytical and always seem to be tying up loose ends, preventing bad things from happening, or correcting what other people get wrong. And a common thought for them is not everyone has the capacity to think or see things the way that I do.
Yeah.
Right. And so as a result, people in this category often have difficulty connecting emotionally to other people is what she's talking about. So
because basically emotional disconnection happens when you're younger and it's not safe to feel, so you start to learn to disconnect
emotions from the body.
Emotions from the body. So like you could be going through something but you don't feel that because you're emotionally disconnected, but it works both ways. It's also the positive and the negative. Like you don't feel happy but you also don't, it works out as a superpower because when like immensely sad things happen, which a lot of life can be, you're not affected by those things either.
It's pleasure also, not just happy. It's not it's pleasurable.
Pleasurable
feelings.
Things.
But happiness is a fleeting emotion, is why I say pleasure, because pleasure comes in so many different shapes, and happiness is so specific. You know, but when you can't experience pleasure because you're emotionally disconnected from your body, but you also can't experience pain because you're emotionally disconnected from your body, then obviously you're not experiencing real authentic connection and relationships, you know, loving relationships. So I really liked this article because I think I do this. I'm definitely a perfectionist or a recovering perfectionist. I'm definitely trying to get out of being a workaholic, but I am one.
Yeah.
So I like that it talks about how it's a protective response. And so I don't know. It says basically when emotions can't be felt in the body, emotions typically manifest in behaviors that are projected on others, such as anger, such as irritability, impatience, unlovability, jealousy, and resentment.
Yeah.
You know, but I like that idea of how, like, even though you're like emotionally disconnected, your body is still behaving in a manner, you know.
Well, I guess the thing is, the way they explain is that when you're emotionally disconnected, you're action heavy.
That's
like,
what, yeah.
So like when you think about like anger, like even though anger is emotion, anger is very actionable. Like you raise your voice or these different things. So you might not feel angry, but you're showing the anger, you know. And like even like that's why they say like even like when people who are emotionally disconnected, these tend to be gift givers and like, you know, action doers. Because that's how they're shown like, oh, I love this person, so I'm going to do these things for this person. You know, I'm going to, you know, whatever that looks like. And it can be tough because, you know, a more emotionally, I don't want to compare, but like usually when you think of like words of affirmation or like gestures, like quality time, those usually come from a place of like a deeper place of emotion. And I don't want to misconstrue, because it's not that these people aren't able to do this. It's just hard for them to do it because they never, basically the conditions have to be right for them to be safe. And like I said, again, I wanted to bring it up because, you know, a lot of people have been in places where they felt like their emotions aren't, there isn't space for their emotions. And, you know, they're not allowed. And I feel like a lot of people are becoming more emotionally disconnected, especially like, you know, as it's kind of how the world has been going. And I kind of want to bring awareness to that, because once we're aware of it, like if you're emotionally disconnected, it's not like you can never reconnect with your emotions. It's just there is like things that you can be like, things that you can do to connect again. But like I think you pointed out perfectly, like some signs that you might be emotionally disconnected is about how you go about your emotions. Are you a person where things are getting tough? Are you just throwing hella work at yourself? Are you doing a lot of numbing activities? You know, because if I have a project that needs to be done, I can't think about how I feel. I remember I went to therapy. My therapist kept telling me that. She's like, Najara, you have to get a journal and write down anytime you feel a way. I'm like, what you mean by that? I don't feel any way. She's like, Najara, you feel away. I'm like, I don't feel nothing.
It's like,
and then she was like, basically, she's like, just start with anytime you're mad. Anytime you're mad, just get a journal, write down the trigger and everything. And then you go there, and then you keep going on. And that helps you just recognize, like, even though you might be emotionally disconnected, there's still, you know, it still comes out. Mm-hmm. Somebody cuts you off, you don't go, well, I hope they get on their way. I mean, some people are, but most people aren't.
So, and there's also the emotion wheel.
Yeah.
You know, where you can, like, look and see what emotions you're feeling or what emotions can help create another emotion. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I love that. And the article also mentions something about, like, adrenaline highs.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Because you can't feel, you find yourself doing
thrill seeking, or, you know, buying material things, or, you know, it says constantly it says, okay, engage in new experiences or be constantly changing things. Like, you know, moving your apartment around. I do that all the time myself. There are tinges of these things that I definitely practice. Yeah. So, but I like what you mentioned in terms of, like, how it's required to have an environment that makes you feel safe to connect with your emotions. And for me, that's usually by myself or in therapy, or there are certain people that I feel safe, but I don't know, like, with this now, I feel like I gotta go back and ask myself some of these questions, and I don't know, pay better attention, because this idea that your emotions are meant to be felt, and that the body responds by action when it's not feeling, and it can be I don't want to use the word toxic, but it can be unhealthy actions that your body starts to take that's against you, that works against, you know, your ability to be connected to people. I don't know, I feel kind of like inspired to dive a little bit deeper with this awareness.
Well, and I think that's the point too. Like, I want to, like, to bring it up to people, because what's interesting about this article, especially when it comes to relationships, is that we understand that emotions are meant to be felt, but I think something we also miss is that emotions are also meant to be shared. Mm-hmm. Especially when you're trying to build a relationship. Like, I think about my close friends and even exes. It's like, the best moments aren't like I told them I love them, or they told me that I love them, or whatever. The best moments are when that, like, it's felt.
Like, it's like in the gut.
Yeah, like you feel it. And whether even when it comes to, like, resolving something after there's, like, a been emotional high, and, like, when you're, and I haven't been, like I said, I'm not a fully emotionally disconnected person, mm-hmm. but I have definitely been times where people are feeling like, especially, like, I'm disconnected when it comes to, like, death. Like I remember all my family was crying when my grandpa died, and I'm just like my girlfriend came over, she started crying. I went to go tell my sister the news, she's crying. My mom's crying. My uncles and them are all crying, and I'm just like, I, like, walked in the room, I saw him, and I started laughing. And, like, you know, it's like, I don't think it's
like
healthy.
A nervous laughter, or
an
authentic laughter because everybody was sad.
Because he was like this. Like, listen, he was. And it's hard to explain, because you gotta see if you know how my grandma's house is. So, like, my grandma's house, the way my grandma's house is like, you would walk in, and then there's a bathroom, and then through the bathroom is his room. So they had both doors open. So you walk into the house, I look to the right, and I just see, and I'm like, oh my God.
Childish.
And it's just like, bro, come on. He looked like he was slumped, like sleeping. And I was like, oh my God. So I had to walk out, and I was like, yeah, I'm not ready. But, like,
was that your first time ever seeing someone pass like that?
I mean, I've seen him in the casket, but I've never ever seen somebody, like, you know, like, gone, like, outside of, you know, a morgue. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was my first time, like, seeing him, and I'm like,
okay, I could.
He's like, he's slumped.
The context,
like, cause, like, in my head, I'm like, how you know he did? He might just be slumped.
Are you sure he's not just sleeping hard?
And he was just. But anyway, yeah. But like in that moment, I was definitely disconnected. Like that could have been a moment of like building bonds. And I do feel like a lot of my family built stronger bonds through that trauma. And I hate to say that I wasn't one of those people because, I mean, for some reason I felt like I had to be the rock because I did have to go around and like help with certain things, you know, let people know, give calls, and I was the one to tell my sister because she was the one that was like mostly beat up about it. But like I remember even like when she was crying, I was holding her. I'm like, I could actually like I can really like remember how I felt, and I remember just feeling like, damn, this sucks. That's all I kept saying to myself, like, damn, this sucks. But not more like genuinely like I mean, granted,
logically you understood, but like,
yeah, like granted the emotions came later.
Yeah.
Because like most people don't realize like you're gonna feel it.
Yeah, it'll come up eventually.
So like, I felt that like in alone, where you like say like in a safe place, like I felt that alone. Like every time I was alone, I felt it. But like in the presence of people, like I remember my girlfriend kept trying to ask me like, "Well, are you good?" I'm like, I don't know, but it really ain't hit me. But then like I think back on like my actions, like you know, it comes out even like subconscious. Your body's gonna do certain things. Like I was like completely isolating. Like I did not want nobody. I didn't want my girlfriend around me. You know, like I went like I didn't want to hang out with my friends unless we was drinking. Like I was like I'm not talking about throwing stuff in work. Like I was like going, I was going ham. And yeah, it's I do feel like it is hard to connect with somebody and make that person feel connected. If you're like, you know, if I know you're going through something, I'm like, Allie, what's going on? You're like, I'm chilling. But I know I can see it in you. I can see your demeanor. I can see all those different things. But you're just like, chilling. It's hard not to be like, damn, like I don't want to feel connected to this person, and that can turn into resentment.
Yeah.
Because like, damn, why are you hiding it from me? Like, you know, I'm like, whatever. But it's
safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And on that note, I do want to bring up what's important for people to get out of it, because it's important for you to push yourself, but what that means is finding safe spaces. And we understand that not everybody's gonna be safe, but I mean, do you want to share like what it constitutes as a safe space? It's in the article, or if you know, you can go if you don't.
I was looking at the questions of how to start connecting.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
But no, let's start there. I can bring this back up so you can. These are questions we could ask once we know what a safe space is.
Yeah, because that's what I said. Like part of like connecting is finding like I hate to say it, like it's like finding vulnerability practices. Like if your mom is somebody you feel safe with, and you realize you might not be the most out forthcoming with stuff, that might be a good place to start. Or sometimes it could be a friend, sometimes it could be a teacher, a confidant. Like I know my cousin is my person. You know, like my cousin, I could tell, because the key is like there has to be space for your emotions, and there has to be no judgment in that space for you to feel safe to give it. And granted, like you kind of, I don't want to blame there's no blame, but it's like you also have to cultivate that too. Like you have to be okay with it being. The article talks about this. You have to be okay with it not being perfect.
Yeah, with imperfection.
Because like some people are like, "Oh, I'm not gonna tell you because I already know you're gonna judge me." It's like, but you have to like, I'm never gonna not judge you, unless that person just like obviously like I wouldn't tell like like some people have like belief systems and like you gotta be aware of that. But like, if somebody's like kind of on par with you, and you like tell them they're like, whoop, like you have to be okay with that at first because they don't know what the fuck you got going on because you keep it inside the whole time. But over time, but they might empathize like, oh shit, like I got something similar, or like even though I've never been through that, I know that feeling.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it's like it's not going to be perfect the whole relationship. Sometimes you're not always going to feel safe to share. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Or even like you're not going to feel completely safe to share on the first go.
Okay.
You're not going to find somebody who's going to fit all those boxes immediately, because it is kind of like a muscle. You know, like me and my cousin, where we were when I was 14 talking, there were certain things that we both wouldn't tell each other about. Now where we at, man, it's like free game. We tell everybody everything. We tell each other everything, like, because it's been on both sides where like he's told me something and it's not like me going personal like, damn. It's more like hearing the person and be like really like asking them questions like, how did that make you feel, stuff like that. Even vice versa, like I've told him stuff and it's like, you know, like, why do you feel this way? You think this is true? This, that, whatever. Like, and I feel like that's important, but that's grown.
I think I'll just speak to like safe spaces that I've created for myself or that I find myself in, or people. For me, it's definitely my younger sister. She's, I don't know. She and we're like, two peas in a pod. Very similar, very different, very, I think, non-judgmental about each other's upbringings. And just personalities. We have similar but very different personalities. So I feel safe to be the version of myself, that I am. Not version of myself, but you get what I mean. Like, I tend to be more extroverted. My sister tends to be a little bit more introverted, but together we create an ambivert, But in terms of spaces, my book club is probably one of the safest spaces that I have. We meet every 2 weeks virtually, and it's just, I've shared some of my most embarrassing secrets, some of my most painful experiences with those friends, and I've received the best reactions and responses. Everything from, just being receptive to listening and not always feeling like they need to offer the answers, because that's the other thing I think they talk about in here. Like, sometimes people who operate emotionally disconnected will immediately jump to problem solving instead of just like hearing out the feelings of what the person's going through.
Yeah. And
we do a really good job of that in my book club, of holding space for each person's feelings as they come up. But that took time to develop. That took time to build. And the first step of that was being vulnerable and being transparent. They actually gave me that feedback this week about that, or like last week, the last time we met, that one of our new book club members, she was like, the first time I joined, I remember you sharing something so personal, and it really set the tone for me and what to expect in this.
Yeah.
And she's been coming to book clubs, consistently ever since. And so, it's just making sure you're on the same frequency as other people, that people can give you what you can give them.
Yeah.
In terms of like finding a safe space that might be shared with other people.
Well, I think the key to what you said too is that it took you being out there like that for her to be like, oh, okay. And I feel like that is like the key thing. Like, I know, like, like, I know personally, as I like struggle with being more open, if I find myself being hecka open and I'm not getting nothing back from the person, I'd be like, I ain't gonna lie, I'd be feeling myself rescinding, like, okay, now I think I'm doing too much. Mm-hmm. And like, it could be true, and sometimes I feel like it is true. But like you said, like, part of it being a safe space too is like, is it reciprocated? Like, I feel like the only time it's okay for not to be reciprocated is like in therapy. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying like if I tell someone my dirty secret, they should tell me theirs. But if I feel like every time I come to you, like, I'm always like spilling my guts, mm-hmm. and I feel like I'm not getting the same. And like I find out on like some like secondary after you done been through some shit, what you've been going through. Like, damn, bro, I didn't even know you was.
I didn't know you were going through all that.
You're like, oh yeah, bro, my mom died last week.
What?
You didn't say nothing? Oh yeah, no, like I said, we was just, we got it cremated and everything. We do it now. And I'm not saying like from everybody, but like if this is somebody you're close with, it's kind of wild. But yeah, like,
yeah, I mean, you don't have to share everything, but I'll speak for myself. I don't share everything.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm working on, is figuring out what's worth sharing and what's worth keeping to myself.
Do you feel like, especially when you talk about like what's worth sharing, do you feel like it's the actual thing, or is it about the way that you go about sharing it?
Both. But I think it's also how I go about sharing it. I feel like when I share, I end up just like lamenting longer than I would like to.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I end up taking up too much time feeling my feelings. And they, you know, especially the negative feelings. I don't like sharing those with other people. I feel like I'm bringing people down.
Yeah.
You know? But at the end of the day, I do have friends who remind me it's important to release those and not carry them by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And also that I don't have to be, you know, happy when I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't have to lie to myself or them about it, you know?
Interesting.
But did I answer your question directly, by the way?
I don't know.
I'm feeling a little
Ethereal.
a little all over the place. But
I mean, I don't think I like that. I think that made sense to me. Like, I feel like, because what I asked is like, do you feel like the content matters, or do you feel like the way you go about it? And you said like basically you don't like basically running on with like negative emotion.
it's partly, yeah, so it's like partly the content, but the approach too. It's like, if I'm talking a bunch about negative feelings and negative experiences, that's all I feel like I'm bringing to you. And, you know, and it's how I'm talking about it. It's like, am I being angry? Am I like getting hyped up about it? Am I just sad and depressed about it?
Yeah.
And I don't know. Yeah, I think it's like self-judgment of those things myself. So also a safe place has to be within yourself.
100%.
And I think that's what I'm mostly working on. I can't find safety in anyone else until I find safety in myself.
Yeah. I think Maya Angelou talks about something like that. Like you have to have a space. She was talking about when she was in that interview with Oprah. You have to have a space where nobody can go. Somewhere you could be like, that's enough. Because without that, then you lose yourself.
Exactly. So I think that's another part of like finding a safe space is prioritizing, finding, you know, figuring out how to be safe within yourself.
100%.
And that part of that is also being honest with yourself. That's so anyway, let me not ramble.
No, but I do want to talk about like what, like if you relate to what we're saying right now, and I know we said a lot, but like if you feel like you're relating to like feeling that way, you know, feeling like, you know, you neither feel the positive nor the negative emotions, you know, or like you feel like when you're dealing with something you bury it with different things and you feel like you might be emotionally disconnected, and do you feel like that might be something for your relationships? I mean, as someone who has partly felt that way before, I do want to say like that's okay, especially being aware of it now, and I think it's important to talk about some of the things you can do in that situation, because you know the article did give out some ways. An easy way for us to do is to learn to like ask and delegate tasks, which I know is hard.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a vulnerability thing. Like partially of the disconnection, especially when it comes to people, is like I'd rather do it myself.
Me, I
And
hardly ask for help. Sorry.
No. I'm just saying, but I've been the same way. Like I hate asking for help because I hate being let down. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
I hate being let down.
Yeah.
And like, but that's been my biggest thing is like asking and being okay with being let down. Like, and like obviously you see me clench my fist. Like I hate, like, hey mom, can you grab this? And then she has her reasons why not. And it's like, or like I asked her, she's like okay, and then I call her like, did you do it? And she didn't do it. I'm like, but it's like stuff like that where it's like it helps you be more vulnerable with that person and put yourself out there. Like that's a good way. And then like kind of what Ali was saying, like building a community, like with her book club, like that's another good way of building connection.
And they say practicing connection. So like really, like it says start exploring safe connection by relaxing your body and then resting your hand on top of a loved one's shoulder or arm and just see how that feels. You know, just like simple connection and see how your body feels. Hugs, if you're open to them, or gazing just into a loved one's eyes. You know, I think I'll do that with my grandpa a little bit with just because my grandpa's health is yeah, you know, it is what it is. So
Yeah.
but I feel like while I can still like look at him in the eyes and try to remember the feeling of what that's like, because I don't know, there's also a bit of like taking for granted the opportunity to feel connected to people.
Yeah.
While they're here.
Yeah, while that's the key point, like while they're here.
So yeah, anyway, it says yeah, look into people's eyes. If you have children, give them a hug and notice how that feels in your body. Or if these feel too overwhelming, it says you can start with pets or in nature. So, but there's
pets is a good one.
I think pets is a great one.
Because pets are unconditional.
Exactly. They love you back. So, anything else you'd add from the article or personally?
I mean, I just want to just like really emphasize that. I know I make the joke all the time that I'm unemotional, and granted it's an inside joke, and I don't truly feel that way. But I do want to say, like, people who actually do feel that way, I want you to understand that you can feel emotion, unless you're just like literally a psychopath and can't feel any empathy, which is rare. Like nobody's really a psychopath or a sociopath. Not very many people.
Okay.
Like, not people are, but like there's not very
The percentage of it is
yeah, like
not high.
As many people be trying to act like they are, like statistics are saying otherwise.
Okay. Okay.
Now you might have some traits or whatever, but anyways, but you can feel. You might just be
Disconnected.
yeah. You might have just and it's it's understandable because in the world that we live in, you almost get celebrated for being emotionally disconnected. Oh wow, you really killed that. Like, you really been working hard with your head down. Like, you're really hustling. That's no. Like, while financially you look good, you know, we also see a lot of times these CEOs will get divorced 4 or 5 times and be like, it is what it is. So I do think it's important to say, like, you can feel if this is something that you want to do. Like, there are steps and we laid them out, you know.
Yeah. Being emotionally disconnected doesn't mean you don't have the capability to feel emotional. It just means you might struggle to feel emotional more than the average person.
Yeah, you just have the habit of,
and you gotta heal that.
Yeah,
that's what it means. I gotta heal that. I'll speak for myself.
Yeah.
And I used to be I am a very emotional person. That's what's crazy, is like, I'm actually highly emotional. My family would describe me as sensitive. My friends would describe me as sensitive. So,
but I'm saying, wouldn't that be an example of why you started to
100%
be less? Like,
probably.
Like, you always crying.
You're always so sensitive. You're always so defensive. I mean, I am those things, though.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You know, so it's not untrue, and maybe that has to do with me shifting a little bit too. But
interesting.
Anyway.
Pretty cool
for another episode, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like I said, this is a pretty complex topic, but
insightful.
Yeah, I wanted to share that because at the end of the day, I do want us to strive to do better, and I feel like that was something worth sharing.
Respect. Thank you.
But guys, this has been another episode of the Special Friends Podcast. Again, I'm your boy Wuzi.
What's up, y'all? And I am Professor B, aka Allie B.
You know it, and we're that was it. We're out of here.
Yep. Peace.